President Tinubu congratulates President-elect of the Republic of Chad, Mahamat Deby, on election victory.
Nigeria Immigration Service deploys e-border solutions in Kebbi State.
We've been to Kamba, we've been to Lolo and Dole Kaina. We have solution to this. It's just for us to activate it, which we already started.
National Drug Law Enforcement Agency intercepts 3 trailer loads of opioids.
And on Good Morning Nigeria today, we shall focus on abduction of Asara students.
Well, Nigerians were jolted on Thursday, 9th May, with the news that an unspecified number of students had been abducted, at this time at the Confluence University of Science and Technology, Oshara, Kogi State. You mind?
Yeah, and the bandits believed to be kidnappers targeted 3 lecture halls where students were studying for their upcoming exams. Professor Abdurrahman Salawa, Vice Chancellor of the university, had said they are yet to ascertain the number of students that were kidnapped.
Well, thankfully, there has been some good news. A combined security operation has rescued some of the students. A statement by Kogi State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Fanwo, explained that local vigilante men and security agents engaged the kidnappers in a fierce gun battle in the bush. Many of the kidnappers are said to have escaped with gunshot wounds.
And we also thank God that some of the students, abducted students and other people in captivity have been rescued and taken for medical attention. Security agents are currently combing the forest to ensure that all the kidnapped students are found and brought home safely. In the process of rescuing students, a local hunter and a DSS operative sustained injuries and are receiving medical attention as at the moment.
Yeah, and Kogi State's Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo had earlier visited the school and vowed to secure the safe return of students of the Confluence University of Science and Technology who were abducted from the university campus. That's Thursday.
Yes, and he also commended the security agencies for their gallantry in minimizing the impact of the attack by preventing the attackers from gaining access to the university hostels, stressing that nothing will be spared to bring back the students and to prevent a repeat of such unfortunate attack on the university campus and elsewhere in the state, Victor.
Indeed. Now, this recent attack has again raised concerns about the safety of students in Nigerian educational institutions. Well, we have a panel of guests joining us shortly to speak on abduction of Oshara students. So we welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria. We are glad you could join us. I am Victor Azu.
And I am Jumma Yusuf, joining Victor to welcome you to this program. The first for the week, we are reaching you live on the network service of the NTA. Well, you expect to see Chukudi Okolo Gbaja at some point, for the newspaper review. But for now, let's take the highlights of the news from Mina Daniels. Good morning, Mina.
Good morning to you, Jumma and Victor. Good morning, Nigeria. Here are the highlights of the news. President Bola Tinubu extends his warm congratulations to the President-elect of the Republic of Chad, Mahamat Deby, on his election victory. President Tinubu affirms that the successful conduct of elections in the nation underlines the commitment of the government and the people of Chad to democracy and orderly transitions in the region. The President assures President-elect Deby that Nigeria will continue to work closely with the Republic of Chad as both countries seek to enhance peace, security and shared prosperity for the mutual benefit of their peoples. The President also calls for sustained friendly cooperation between both nations while wishing the President-elect success as he undertakes this noble service to the people of Chad. 5 executive orders are underway to ensure a downtrend of inflation and promote economic growth, among other issues, in a matter of days. This is as the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms meet to consolidate on progress of work on critical reforms.
Your administration has a unique opportunity to make a difference so that businesses, as corporate citizens, will have their rights protected and their businesses guaranteed.
Up until the end of June, we envisage by the Q3, our documents will be ready to go to the National Assembly, and by the end of that Q3, we should have them enacted into law.
Another governors are working round the clock to address pressing problems affecting the region, particularly those of security and poverty. The governor of Sokoto State, Ahmed Aliyu, stated this while fielding questions from Jigawa State House correspondents in Duse.
We express our heartfelt condolences. We pray the God Almighty to give you the fortitude to bear the Lord.
I appreciate this. The people of Jigawa State appreciate this because we are living with this what is happening. So I really appreciate it and I thank you very much.
And following her declaration 2 years ago of having 43% Nigerian DNA, Duchess of Sussex Meghan Markle received a grand welcome in the fold. The event was at the reception in honor of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
A commission set up by the Nigerian government to harness the enormous potentials of Nigerians in the diaspora, which of course includes you, our beautiful princess. So we welcome you home today. It's your first visit, but hopefully not your last visit. And we hope you come back home again and again and again.
By uniting our efforts, we can make remarkable progress in acknowledging the sacrifices made by our military personnel.
A 75-year-old grandpa was on Friday, 10th May, arrested with 7.5 kilograms of cannabis in Ekiti State during a raid operation, while a 70-year-old grandma was nabbed with 15.6 kg of same substance on Thursday, 9th May, during a raid in Makodi, Benue State. The operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, also intercepted 3 trailer loads of opioids comprising thousands of pills and bottles of codeine syrup at the Amawodofin local government area of Lagos State. The multi-billion naira consignments were loaded in 3 trailer trucks comprising 3,450,000 pills. Meanwhile, 344,000 bottles of codeine syrup were intercepted in a warehouse in Abulado, where NDLEA officers eventually arrested the suspects in connection with the seizure on Thursday, 9th May 2024. Similarly, another 160 liters of codeine syrup were recovered from a different suspect on the same day in Lagos State. Also, NDLEA operatives on Saturday, 11th May, raided the Iguyi forest in Ovia Northeast LGA, where more than 11,000 kg of cannabis were destroyed on 3 farms measuring 4.65 hectares, while additional 188 kg of the same psychoactive substance was recovered and a suspect arrested during the overnight operation. The Nigerian Immigration Service is set to deploy e-border solutions on the nation's borders in Kebbi State. This follows a 2-day working visit to the state by the Controller General of Immigration, Kemi Namtap, to strengthen collaboration towards enhancing border security. At the end of her tour, the Nigerian Immigration Boss says the service is ready to lead the way in protecting Nigeria's borders, but will require long-term support of all stakeholders.
We've been to Kamba, we've been to Lolo and Dole Kaina. We have solution to this. It's just for us to activate it, which we already started. Very soon we'll be deploying our FOBs and we'll be distributing all the vehicles to the various borders. And in terms of infrastructure, we'll be doing our construction as well. So, and we have the support and the buy-in of the federal government.
And that's the news. Good Morning Nigeria continues with Victor and Jemay after this break.
Fellow Nigerians, it is a good thing to be Nigerian. Good news! The Office of the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is organizing the National Fabric Competition, the #One Nigeria Unity Fabric Competition. The aim is to create a fabric design that would be indigenous to Nigeria, showcasing our culture and unity. This competition is looking out for creativity, concept, and the message of unity. Open to Nigerian youths, both male and female, between the ages of 15 and 25 years. And guess what? You can apply wherever you are in the world as long as you are Nigerian. The winner of this competition goes home with a cash prize of 25 million naira. Are you sure I will not apply for this competition? Submission of entries close on Sunday, 30th of June 2024. Submit your entries by sending pictures of your designs via email to unityfabric.ofl24@statehouse.gov.ng, making sure you capture all parts of your designs. Together, let us unite Nigeria!
I'm the photographer Black Milk. I have an exhibition in 8 weeks about how things get better with time. Darling Natural Twist inspired me. I'm seeing how the twists blend with her hair over time, how she actually feels more confident. She's really more beautiful every week. That's definitely worth celebrating. Darling Natural Twist. Twists that get better every day, just like you.
Bye, Mom.
He's going to play in this weather? Why did you let him go? He might fall ill.
And if he doesn't go out for practice, how will he win more trophies? To protect our family from illness-causing germs during the rainy season, we use Dettol soap every day.
Dettol with Germ Defense gives you protection. Raining season brings a lot of germs, and Dettol soap's Germ Defense protects you from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Dettol soap is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association. Be Dettol sure.
In a world hungry for goodness, with a splash of golden Terra oil, a mom can transform a frown into a smile. Make a lunch hour a happy hour. Change no thanks into yes please. Provide care when our nearest and dearest needs it most. And resolve family feuds without blowing a whistle. Providing tasty, nourishing family meals is all that matters. The world needs moms, because where there are moms, there is hope, happiness, and love. Golden Terra Oil, for pure love.
You have to meet my best friend. She's the sweetest. Hey, check out my hair.
Which one? The one on your head or the one in the sink? Relax. Next time, just use the Mega Growth Anti-Damage Relaxer. It's infused with wonder oils and conditioning proteins for visibly less hair breakage after retouching. Now your hair looks great.
Thank you.
Mega Growth Anti-Damage No-Light Cream Relaxer for visibly less hair breakage after retouching.
We are passionate about two things in Nigeria. The first is football. The second is our rice. And nobody celebrates like a Nigerian. So, for every goal scored, every mark made, you can be sure to always come back home to rice. Celebrate with Nigerian Premium Big Bull Rice, homegrown just like you. Big Bull Rice, tasty rice, nourished you.
If you want to become something, become a child again. Why be patient? If you must worry, then worry about winning. Why worry about germs? When you come home, bring tales and stories. Why bring in germs?
Shield your families from germs. When Dettol is a part of every household bucket, then you and your family can stay protected from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Everyday use of Dettol keeps my loved ones protected.
Something new is about to hit your imagination of TV. A brand new sundial with StarTime's inbuilt technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTime's antenna and satellite signal. StarTime Sundial TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTime's highest bouquet for free, automatic system update. More benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Sundial TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
All right. Up next for us is newspaper review.
And Chukudi is seated here in the studio. Good morning, Chuks.
Morning, how are you doing?
Oh, he's arrived.
Good to see you.
Good morning,
Yeah.
Chukudi.
Are you still doubting whether I'm here? Am I that,
Maybe he can't see you.
Am I that dottish?
You
Am I
look
like a dot?
radiant. You look radiant, and it's getting in my, you know.
It's a beautiful morning.
Good morning, Victor.
Good morning.
How are you?
We have some papers this morning, Chukudi, to go through, and let's begin with the leadership newspaper. Let's get the leadership newspaper, and just above the masthead, error bombing, live returns to Tudumbiri. Find details on page 6. Tinubu won't take sides in Rivers crisis. That's coming from the presidency. Find all the details on page 25. FG raising tax exemption threshold above 25 million naira turnover. Coming from Oye Daily. With riders, new policy targets 95% of informal sector. Find the details on page 2. Mega Party, ADC, LP, SDP, PRP, NNPP leaders meet on Thursday. Want to know what they're going to talk about? You find the details on page 25. Despite 10.01 billion naira budget, Presidency, Army, 33 MDAs still owe electricity bills. With riders, situation increasing debt stock, fiscal deficit. Electricity payment ranks as first line change. And labor pickets NAC discourse over tariff hike today. Find the details on page 4. And at the side piece of the picture story, Hajj 2024, airlift of pilgrims begins Wednesday. Details on page 6. Security agents rescue 31 students, passengers in Kogi, Kaduna. Details on page 7. Streetlight contractors blame AEDC for dark FCT streets. There's a blame game happening there. Details on page 20. Freight operations begin on Lagos-Kano rail line June. Details on page 21. On the picture story you see there, Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, the Duke, Prince Harry, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and his wife, Dr. Ebijoke Sanwo-Olu, during a course visit by the Duke to the Lagos House Marina yesterday. Let me quickly go to the Nation newspaper, and we begin above the masthead. Cybersecurity levy, why implementation can't take off. You want to know why? Go to page 3. Commissioners battle chairman at Federal Character Commission. Details on page 2. Nigerian complex but easy to govern, says Obasanjo, former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Details on page 3. Pressure mounts on debtors to pay 450 billion naira federal government loans. Details on page 4. And below the masthead, experts suggest options as inflation crosses 35%. With rider, security, food, higher crude oil output, others should get government priority. Find all the details on page 4. Kwara, Akwa Ibom, Yobe, Borno, others most backward in pension remittance. You find the details on page 21. And the headlines in the Nation newspaper, EFCC to join forces with UK prosecutors in Desani's case. With riders, anti-graft agency seeks access to ex-minister's assets. Orders. Find the details on page 2. Rivers government lawmakers flex muzzles over assembly quarters. Elder caution government integrity test to be done. That's about what we have in the Nation newspaper. Victor.
All right, and on to The Guardian, which leads with the headline and a picture story. Energy prices soar by 70%. Cost manufacturers 290 billion naira in Q1. That story is on page 6. And then you have the picture there telling the story of Q4 2023 versus Q1 2024. Serap Abakoba CSOs head to court as FG quietly withdraws cybersecurity levy. That story is on page 6. Labour to paralyze power sector over tariff hike. You find that on page 3. Withdraw death penalty for drug offences. ASF France tells Senate. That's Lawyers Without Borders. That story is on page 5. Rivers elders caution Fubara against tampering with assembly quarters. For details, go to page 8. Troops bust terrorists' hideouts in Taraba. Seize arms, ammunition. That one is on page 9. And finally, again, gunmen kill 3 policemen. Road safety official in Enugu. You get that on page 12. Chukode.
Let me start with the positive side to that. And I'm saying kudos to the DSS and hunters in Kogi State for helping to rescue students of Confluence University of Science and Technology who were abducted by
some of them.
Some of them.
14.
Yes. Actually, what happened was that, from what we read, that is, when they confronted the armed men, some of the students had to run away. It is not
able to escape.
They were able to escape, and then some who ran away from the scene of firing and all that are likely to be to rejoin their colleagues later.
I like the swift action taken by
exactly. We have to commend them.
Yes,
you see,
swift action.
I told you guys I was a hunter in the village. I like the mention of the role of hunters.
Jack of all trades.
Beside the DSS. Yeah, there was a night I shot 2 wild pigs. I'm not making it up. Good. I like when I hear hunters' names. But then we must commend the DSS. Hunters will not be very bold when men who are officially uniformed to perform that role are not around. So let's not give it only to hunters. Then, of course, Governor Adodo is also being praised for supporting.
Yeah, supporting.
The IG may be the one in charge of the police, but in terms of facilitating police work, governors in the 36 states of the Federation,
yeah, the security officers of
the minister and FCT,
yes.
they are very important
They are.
in getting the job done. So I thought we should mention that as a positive side because of what you read there.
That's what we'll be talking about in the discussion segment.
Oh, lovely. Some things are not a coincidence. Yeah. They are saying that inflation is crossing 34 or 35%. I have 34 here. Yeah. You read 35 or so?
Yeah, 34.
Okay, very good. 34 is quite high.
It is.
Because what it means is that you have a little money chasing very high prices there at the marketplace. I was listening to the Argentinian president talking to the BBC reporter. Quite interesting interview on BBC World. And he's an economist. And he was talking economics. And he said, what you are doing in Argentina is to make sure that salaries outpace prices out there.
Yes.
I know Victor is going to smile because minimum wage is being discussed in Nigeria. But at the end of the day, we need to say be cautious even in adding to workers' salaries. Because at a point, too much money pursuing too few goods will lead to further inflation. So a lot of tinkering has to be done by those who understand the economics. Very important. I don't know why Rivers people are still embroiled in this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw the president's aide during Gilani on TV, I think two or 3 days ago, making it a certain that the president would never take sides with anybody in River State. Yes. Of course, he's stating the obvious. The president has his constitutional roles. What he did by calling Fubara and the FCT minister and their supporters was an elderly statesman's attitude to not watching a sore fester. If the Rivers people are not listening to what the president told them, I dare say that they're stashing out more trouble for themselves, in the days ahead. Look, it's an ill wind that blows no one any good. They have to count their teeth with their tongue.
Even elder statesman said that they should tread carefully on this political issue.
They have to. Where it is leading,
Clark, he said it.
There it is leading. I'm not a prophet, but where this is leading, if anybody thinks they are going to emerge victorious and all that, I just smile.
You find a government who will not be able to do anything because you haven't had
because
time to focus.
they are distracted. Rivers people are the ones suffering paying the ultimate price for all these unnecessary, things happening. They are preventable.
But how difficult is it to just allow the governor to do his job?
Well, that would amount to taking sides.
No.
Nigerian politics.
If you are elected, what I'm saying is, if you are elected, I said, allow the man do his job. I'm not saying anybody.
I agree.
Ultimately, isn't that what it should be?
without, I'm blindfolding
Unless and when we take away godfatherism
Isn't
from
that what
Nigerian
it should be?
politics,
Bless
that
you.
is the only way
I want
governors
to
will be able to.
I want to put the blindfold on me, like the person when you see the scale of justice, and say what I want to say. Ultimately, the governor must be allowed to govern the state.
Yes,
it's as simple as that. If that happens, and then you can work.
We have to talk like journalists, okay? Yeah. But the problem is this. The process of acquiring office in Nigeria is itself suspect.
Yes.
You do not allow people to bankroll your whatever, and you think that when you get into office...
Well, we don't know about that.
We don't know about that, but it is actually at the bottom of everything. So the process of people coming to office in Nigeria needs to be questioned, needs to be investigated, needs to be pried into, so that you don't get to see all these things. Godfatherism, you said, is the bane of Nigerian politics.
Yes, it is.
That's it. So we have to do what we can to, it's very important.
And then the death penalty for drug offenses.
We read that on Friday. It's of drug offenses. It doesn't actually, the death sentence does not get to the consumer. It is to the traffickers, the manufacturers. Very important we point that
15
out.
years for the users.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Death sentence is being phased out in most of the world. I don't know whether I'm interested in a man being sent to the guillotine or having the noose dropped around his neck and all that. But that's a personal matter. The law is the law. If it becomes law...
Because it's become, rampant in recent times.
I agree.
Too much.
It has eaten deep into the very fiber of the nation.
I agree. But remember that after the military regime of president, not president, I should
head of state
then, Buhari then, after shooting Ogedengbe and the rest, did anything, did it abate?
It stopped.
It didn't quite stop.
Well, that's because you didn't go further with it.
It's okay.
It wasn't sustained.
Whatever works should be upheld in this country. Quickly, ladies and gentlemen, cybersecurity levy, it seems the presidency is asking the CBN to suspend it for now.
Better.
And the president feels that the weight Nigerians are bearing is already on the high side. Let's remember that the CBN is only going to be in a facilitating role. The office that actually implements it is that of the NSA. That's what the Act says. But whatever it is, I think if the government can manage, let them not make too heavy
Let Nigerians
part-time.
breathe.
Exactly.
Let Nigerians breathe.
That's it.
And
They gave me
that's it.
the tomato they gave me 2 days ago for 2004. I nearly picked one of them to stone the seller.
No, please don't. But maybe when you leave the studio, you could do that.
You know,
leave me some tomatoes.
You don't want
a great
want
day.
a madman in the studio. What if I become one?
Yes, a kilo of meat is now 6,500 naira.
Don't break my heart more.
6,500
Kick me
naira.
out. It's time for Chukudi to leave the studio.
Time to go, Chukudi.
Let's
Thank you so much. Let's pack
Enjoy
it
the
out.
rest of your day.
Yes.
You too. Bless you.
We'll take a break. When we return, our conversation will begin. Don't go away.
A good farmer is a craftsman of the highest order. It is said, great farmer, great nation. No farmer, no nation. Yes, let's set the ball rolling to build that great Nigeria where good food is in abundance, affordable and easily accessible. The Renewed Hope Initiative, RHI, an initiative of the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, is aligning with the vision and aspiration of the administration of President Bola Tinubu, GCFR, and is organizing the Every Home a Garden competition. The competition is under the scope of agriculture of the Renewed Hope Initiative. For the competition, women are encouraged to immediately plant a garden at home, such that the harvest can provide adequate food on their table and enough to give their neighbor. This competition is open to only women. She must be a first-time farmer. The garden must be in her home, and it is open to women in every state of the Federation and the FCT. Interested participants should do a 30-second video and a picture of the garden, which indicates its location, to the office of the First Ladies of their various states. The winner of this competition will be announced in December 2024, and the winner of the competition goes home with 20 million naira. Women, join the train. Be part of the food revolution in Nigeria. What are you waiting for? Let's get to work. This message is by the Renewed Hope Initiative, RHI, an initiative of the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON.
Bye, Mom. He's going to play in this weather. Why did you let him go? He might fall ill.
And if he doesn't go out for practice, how will he win more trophies? To protect our family from illness-causing germs during the rainy season, we use Dettol soap every day.
Dettol with germ defense gives you protection. Raining season brings a lot of germs, and Dettol soap's germ defense protects you from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Dettol soap is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association. Be Dettol sure.
TerraCube is available in beef, chicken, jollof and shrimp flavors at attractive prices of 50, 100, 200 and 500 naira.
TerraCube. Unwrap joy. Unleash taste.
The new Happic sachets. It has a thick formula, so all you need is just one sachet for your toilet bowl. It gives 10 times better cleaning and big savings too.
Wow, Helen!
Sparkling clean toilet with Happic sachet.
Blessing, fill in the blank. Falling dash.
In love.
Falling in love! What is the most interesting thing your husband has ever done for you?
All right, so I would say during the pregnancy period, giving birth, the times in the labor room is with me. Sometimes he pays for me.
Name an underwater animal that is dangerous to humans. Michael.
Whale. Crocodile.
Shark. Earthworm.
I am yet to see that earthworm. That will make me say, help, help, help.
Electric fish.
Alligator. Hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus.
The counsel of our fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
I don't know what your dream is. To live your dream requires unwavering passion. But if your passion burns true, you will defy the skeptics.
And captivate countless souls.
It's 1,000% yes.
The world will never be the same.
That is how you do it.
Because you dared to dream.
This is Nigerian Idol.
Catch the premiere of Nigerian Idol Season 9, starting 21st of April, 7 p.m. West African time. Nigerian Idol, exclusive to DSTV and GoTV.
Nigerian Idol is proudly sponsored by Techno, Stop at Nothing, and Biggie for every moment.
You're welcome back, and you're watching Good Morning Nigeria. Now, to sort of, push our conversation this morning, let's take this background report.
Again, Nigeria is saddened by another mass adoption of students by bandits in northern Nigeria. This time around, unspecified number from the Confluence University of Science and Technology, Osara in Kogi State. It came just after the release of 287 students abducted from LEA Primary and Secondary School in the remote town of Kuriga in Kaduna State on March 7th. About 1,400 students are reported to have been kidnapped from Nigerian schools since 2014, when Boko Haram militants kidnapped hundreds of schoolgirls from Chibok village in Borno State. Unlike other adoptions, where release of the students took long time and others still in captivity, in the last two incidents, many of the students regained freedom within few days. There were directives from the president and state authorities to security operatives to ensure swift rescue of the adoptees, and this actually paid off. Interestingly, there is no mention of ransom paid on the two incidents. Kaduna State government commended security agencies for the rescue of the Kuriga children, while the Kogi State government is thankful to the local vigilant groups and security operatives for engaging the kidnappers in a fierce shootout and overpowering them to leave the kidnapped students in the forest to be rescued. Many of the students and other people in captivity set free are said to be receiving medical attention. A statement issued by the State Commissioner for Information and Communication, Kingsley Fanwo, states that a local hunter and a DSS operative sustained injuries and are also currently receiving medical attention, while security agents are currently combing the forests to ensure all kidnapped students are found and brought home safely. The latest adoption again raises concern over safe school initiative in the country. While it seems the tactics of immediately going after the kidnappers is gaining ground in the rescue efforts, many Nigerians continue to ponder why resurgence of kidnapping of children and school students. Is the country lacking behind in the Safe School initiative, and what is the implication of these continuous attacks on Nigerian schools and adoption of students for ransom on the nation's education system, especially in the northern region witnessing most of the cases? Guests on Good Morning Nigeria will share perspectives in a short while.
Many thanks, Joseph Hussein, for the background report. And to begin our conversation this morning, we have been joined right here in the studio, first by Dr. Yahuza Getso, CEO and Director, Forest Criminality Intelligence Center for Security, Intelligence Research and Community-Driven Development here in Abuja. He is also Managing Director, Eagle Integrated Security and Logistics Company Limited, also in Abuja. A pleasure to welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria.
Pleasure is mine. Good morning, viewers.
All right, we have also been joined from our Kaduna studio by Isa Ozi Salami. He's President, Nigerian Institute for Industrial Security. Thank you very much for coming on Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you very much for having me.
Good.
And we have joining us via Zoom from Lokoja, Kogi State, Kingsley Femi Fanwo, Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kogi State. Thank you so much for joining us on Good Morning Nigeria.
Thanks very much for having me.
Last but not the least, I would like to welcome all the way from Freetown, Sierra Leone, Assistant Inspector General of Police, AIG Wilson Inalegu, retired, Advisor National Office of the National Security Advisor, Tower Hill, Freetown, Sierra Leone. He was also former AIG Zone 9, Umuahia, and also former Commissioner of Police, FCT, Ekiti, and Kogi State. You're welcome to Good Morning Nigeria. It's a pleasure to have you join us.
Begin with Kingsley Fanwo in Kogi State, where the incident occurred. You listen to our background report. There's certainly something missing from there. And you will help us provide that background, which is how many... Oh, you don't have it? We lost Kingsley Fanwo at the moment. Okay, let's begin here in the studio. Dr. Getso, yes. What's your assessment of what has happened in Osara, Kogi State?
Well, there are a number of unanswered questions, which are either silent intentionally or silent unintentionally. But we are still asking the government and those responsible key stakeholders of the security management of the university, as well as the management of the university, and the state government to open up so that public can have the confidence restored. One of the questions is, nobody yet have the specific number of students being kidnapped. We have seen on papers, and we have heard from some of the local and international media, that a certain number of students have been released. Yet, why can't the government and the management of the institution tell the public how many number, what is really the number of students that have been released? Looking at the scenario, the entire situation, one, what was the communication strategy of the security? What is the security architecture of the institution? And what have been the relationship, having the fact that kidnapping had become a business of the day, especially in the institutions that are at the outskirts of the villages or at the outskirts and the rural local governments. What have the government been doing, and how much commitment have been made in order to have institutionalized synergy between the security agencies and the university security management? And at the same time, when the abductors arrived at the university, yes, of course, they may be shooting sporadically, but what efforts have the security management made in order to contact? What is the distance between Usara and the FCT and Usara and all the other Air Force bases that we have within the surrounding of the FCT, within the surrounding of the Kogi State, and even at far? You can even go by extension that Kogi State is neighboring as many states of the Federation. So it means that there are a number of Air Force bases, and also there are even other formations of the Nigerian Army, of the Nigerian Navy, within the territorial integrity of Kogi State, whereby an alarming communication, a distress call can be put in place so that these guys can be easily tracked and be dealt with accordingly. So I really wonder, I have been asking myself and asking everybody, and I pose these questions to some of the retired permanent secretaries and some of the former commissioners in Kogi State that I know. What is really the plan? What are you guys doing? Because you two are part of the key players. How much have Kogi elders been engaged by the government in order to look inwards the issues of security challenges, especially within those institutions? And I have a question to the national coordinator and the national team facilitating the process of safe school initiatives. To what extent have you been facilitating the process of having either a police formation or a civil defense or even an ordinary vigilante group or otherwise the civil defense or any other formation? And we are yet to have any brief from either the Director General of the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps and all other relevant agencies that are supposed to kind of provide required information. And I think I saw it yesterday that the governor have said that they are working hard to see the release of the children.
Yes, indeed. You know, Dr. Gates, you know, we have to commend the Kogi State Governor for the swift action they took and making sure that some of the students were able to escape and others in captivity. Now we're going to get the update because you're saying we do not have the details. Actually, Nigerians do not have the details or know how many students have been kidnapped, how many were able to escape. So we'll get an update now as the Commissioner for Information, Kogi State, Mr. Kingsley Fanwo, is online now. If you can hear me, can you give us an update and, you know, a number on the number of students that were kidnapped earlier, how many have escaped? Let's just have a detail on what's actually going on now. What's the situation like?
Thank you very much for having me, and I want to thank Dr. also for the concerns that he raised. What actually happened was those people struck between 8:30 to 9 p.m. on Thursday, and you know, those who are familiar with the operations of these bandits and kidnappers will tell you that they don't stay for a very long time. Their operations are always very swift and very fast because they know that you could rally security agencies around you to be able to confront them. The good thing about it was that the security agents that were on ground on campus, they were able to put a very stout resistance to the kidnappers. And that was the reason they could not make away with the number of people that you had in other states, over 200 and all of that. Most of the students were in their classrooms studying for the examination that was to start a few days ago. So, you know, there were quite a number of students that they would have been able to take away into the forest. But the number was limited. At first, people were banding rumors of scores, more than 40, more than 50. But when we got there, we saw the list that the school authorities quickly put together, having checked the hostels and all of that to know the number of students missing. And right there, the Commissioner for Education put a call through to one of them to know, and that one said she was in the hostel. So that was the reason we have been very careful in giving numbers. At that point, we were able to ascertain just 9. Later, we had more were in the bush with them. And conservatively, I won't be very specific, it's about 24. And as at yesterday, we've been able to secure the release of 14 students from the kidnappers. We're also putting calls through to their communities, to their parents, because some of them scampered after the confrontation with security, joint operation of the security agents that confronted them in the bush. Through the deployment of technology, they were able to pinpoint where they were kept in the bush, and there was a very fierce gun battle between security agents and the kidnappers, which made them to abandon the kidnapped girls and scampered, you know. And also, because of the firepower, the students, they are quite young. Many of them also scampered because they don't want to be caught in the firepower that was that happened between agents and the kidnappers. So this is exactly what is happening at the moment. We are still searching for about 10 of them. We have 14 already. I've not gotten briefings this morning to know whether we've gotten more. And those that were released, we've taken them to medical facilities. We are just working on their medicals alone. We're also working on their psychology to also talk to them and encourage parents and also to be able to boost their confidence to continue to come to school. And we know the intention of these outlaws is to ensure that they scare people away from going to school, but we would encourage them by putting up, by upgrading our security architecture around our institutions, our citadels of learning, to ensure that the confidence of students to go to school is not in any way affected.
Thank you very much, Kingsley. Well, the information that is available is that hunters were deployed to secure the release of the 14 that were rescued yesterday. Are they working alone, or is it a combined team of hunters and security agencies? Now, what other strategies are you putting in place to see that you recover the remaining 10?
Thank you very much. You know, immediately it happened, the governor, through the local government chairman and the security agencies, was able to mobilize over 400 local hunters who understand the terrain very well. This is also very key in security management. You know, they understand the terrain very well. Over 400 of them were deployed. And we also have a joint operation of the security agencies, the army, other military forces, the DSS, the police, the NSCDC, the Kogi State Vigilante Service. It was a joint operation by all of these security agencies to ensure that we achieve the success that we've achieved so far. And also they are combing all the forest right now. I told you that we deployed technology. Kogi State has one of the most robust security architecture in the country, because while other states were still working on the kinetic, we've gone technological, you know, in ensuring that we're able to deploy technology to be able to assist forces in combating insecurity. So we know where some of these students are, and that was the reason we're able to zero in and you know, confront the kidnappers directly in the bush. And you know, we are still searching for the students. We know some of them had escaped and probably had even gone to their villages. We are putting in place a modality to be able to ensure that we find out where they are, while still combing the forest to find those who might have lost their ways in the forest. So these are some of the things that security agencies have been doing. They've not left the forest since Friday, because we would not rest until the last person is rescued. And also, the most important thing here is that the governor was at a school, and he also identified internal sabotage, where he complained that the CCTV was switched off, minutes or hours before the attack. So it shows that someone internally sabotaged the efforts of the security agents that were on ground. We're also investigating all of that, and that might also give us a clue to be able to get the remaining students that are still in the bush. But even beyond that, we have also upgraded, like I said before, we've upgraded the security architecture around our institutions of learning. This is the first time this kind of crime is happening in Kogi State, and we will not want a repeat of that. So we are upgrading to ensure that we stop future occurrences. But most importantly, we would spare nothing. Like the governor said, he said he would spare nothing to ensure that the last person is released.
Okay, Mr. Fanwo, Nigerians quite commend the swift action taken by the Kogi State government, in the pursuit of these kidnappers. But as any out of they said there was a gun party. Is there any arrest or any death of one of these kidnappers?
Yeah, I think that the police released a statement yesterday. A lot of operations are still ongoing. We would not want to talk about it here, but I think I can assure Nigerians that this set of people may not want to come to Kogi State again. This is the second time that they are facing this kind of an onslaught. When they went to Yaba West to rob a bank, they were also encircled. We cut off all supplies to them, and they started reporting themselves to security agencies, and they were all prosecuted. We are very confident that some of them would be apprehended. If they had not been apprehended, we would not leave them. They will have to pay for what they did to our students.
Kingsley Fanwo, thank you very much. Let's put you on hold for now and head to our Kaduna studio, where we have Isa Ozi Salami. Please tell us, what you make of this whole situation. Of course, I'm not sure if this is, I don't know if this is the first time in Kogi State that we're having this kind of situation, but what do you read with these occurrences from state to state from time to time?
First of all, let me commend the efforts of the Kogi State government in terms of promptness of attention, because the success, the limited success they achieved is due to the promptness and the attention at the highest level, where the governor himself showed a lot of concern. So it is very, very clear that government is not resting on its oars. And as the governor himself stated, as well as collaborated by the commissioner, security efforts sometimes cannot be discussed publicly in details because the culprits are listening and you don't want them to know what you want to do because they can work against your plan even before implementation. So the nature of security is such that you cannot disclose everything. But on a national scale, the issue of abduction of students from institutions has been very worrisome to me, because we are here saying that education in the north, the number of students that ought to be in institutions that are outside are growing in the north. And this kind of occurrence coming so often within the north is something that can discourage all the efforts at improving education and getting our youths to get into school and be properly taught. Even the lecturers will now become very, very afraid because they will think that they are not secure. I know already that many farmers are today unable to go to their farms because of the fear of insecurity. So the insecurity situation, though we are just discussing the institutions now, the generality of insecurity in the country is absolutely unacceptable. And the federal government at the highest level, I call on the President of Nigeria, Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to please take more interest on fighting insecurity. He should give directives and monitor those directives to the armed forces, the National Security Advisor, and they should have a plan, a comprehensive plan to end this insecurity. Because if nothing, it is driving away potential foreign investors. No investor would like to go to a place that is not secure. Security is the number one condition that any investor, any meaningful investor would want to have in place. So it is an issue that we cannot play with. We cannot toy with it. And this insecurity thing has been with us for too long. And I think it is about time that the authorities really get going and utilize all the capacities that we have. Because some of our capacities are latent. For instance, retired but not tired army personnel are all over the place. We have the Nigerian Institute for Industrial Security, which I have the privilege to head. And all these organizations, we should tap whatever they can do in order for the problem to be solved. Last few months, the Institute of for Industrial Security had a conference in Lagos, and we discussed a lot of these issues and made recommendations to government as to the way we think it can be done. So I think that security is everybody's problem. It's not only the problem of security officers or security advisors, but it is the problem of everybody. Because when there's insecurity, you cannot do anything else. No economic development can take place when there's insecurity. I give an example. There was a Chinese road staff or supervisor who was kidnapped at the site, and the civil defense officer that was attached to him was killed in the process. Up to today, we've not been able to locate that Chinese gentleman. Obviously, the work on the road had to stop abruptly. It's only now that they are trying to see, the Commissioner for Works announced recently that they are trying to see what they can do to resume work and so on. So it is a very big problem, and I think it is not something that we can relax about until there's security. This has not always been with us, and now that it has come, we must rise and tackle it. The demand for state police, to me, is not the issue. We should muster the resources we have now, and if need be, government needs to fund the security agencies adequately so that they will be able to tackle insecurity. If that is done, I believe a lot of other activities. Nigeria has a lot of attraction for foreign investors, and people will be rushing here. It will be our privilege to choose those that we want to accept, and we don't even need to be going about looking for them to come, because we have a lot of attractions in various sectors of the economy that foreign investors could come in. But we must tackle insecurity first and foremost.
Thank you so much, Mr. Salami. You know, security is very, very important in any society that wants to progress economically, and I believe that it will get better for Nigeria. Let's now bring in AIG Wilson Inalego, retired. He's joining us from Sierra Leone, and his former AIG Zone 9, Umuahia, and he was also a commissioner in Kogi State. You know, people are saying that this is one too many. You know, this is happening all the time, from the northeast to the northwest, and now it has gone across the Niger into Niger State. These bandits, these kidnappers are becoming very bold, always a step ahead, you know. But what happened in Kogi, we can see that the security forces and the governors were very alert, and what they did is so commendable. But we cannot continue to, you know, we have to re-emphasize the need for this implementation of the Safe School initiative so that students can stay in school and be able to learn. Implementation is taking a long time, and parents are saying that their students are not safe in the school. What happens to education in Nigeria? Some are saying it should be put on a state of emergency. Let's have your thoughts.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to commend the security forces for the rescue of the 14 students. And my prayer and wish is that the 10 that are perhaps still in the bush are safely rescued. That said, you see, the Safe School initiative is a good thing. But I want to give some factors. When you are siting a school, when you are locating an institution, especially a university, come to think of it, the location you have chosen, what is the risk assessment you've done? What is the risk assessment that you have done to be able to determine that should anything happen, you take this step? Number two, what process do you have in place to alert decision makers, BC, the VC, and others that may have to react. So in dealing with this kind of issue, we have to talk about proactivity. And that proactivity is dealt by the early warning and response mechanism that is in place. We know, as from my experience, if I want to describe the issue of kidnap in Kogi State, I will select Osara as the capital or headquarters of kidnap. Therefore, when you are locating that school, you have to be kidnap aware. You have to be aware of the kidnap potential that exists in that location. And you will put in place a countermeasure. Now, we all agree that security is a shared responsibility. And you have a lot of stakeholders. In the case, during the rescue, a lot of stakeholders came into fold. The hunters, I'm talking about 400, the police, the DSS, the civil defense. Now, when you have trying to put a system in place, a system of early warning and response system. Now, because Osara is highly vulnerable to issue of kidnap, therefore, when you are locating the school, how did you fence the school? Because if you don't fence the school, how do you take control of access? How the perimeter, because I'm told it's about 30 or 35% fence, and the whole bush is there, springing from Obajana Cement Company up to that place, like this flat bush. So when you want to locate this kind of school, it's also important, without downplaying what they have done, to at least have the place fenced. It is better you have the place fenced and have few buildings than to have so many buildings and the place is vulnerable, to attack. So that is one thing that I want to talk about. Now, the stakeholders, the community, how have you brought them on brought them to play a part? The university community, this security guards they have employed, was there any background check? Because I'm hearing that there is an internal collusion. Was that check? Was the police put in the force to take their biometrics? Was that done? And now, who installed this CCTV camera? Does it have playback? All these are the questions. So when you want to cite a school, I think it's important to conduct a risk assessment. Because if you conduct a risk assessment, it puts you in a position to make informed decision. Two, the early warning and response mechanism. Usually, the early warning is given. What of the response? Because when you have this kind of attack, there is a police division in Osara. How equipped is that police station? How mobile is the police? Now, the hunters are good, but when you want to talk of institutional memory, can you get such information from them? If the state government has made effort, but last time they donated over 100 and something vehicles to security agencies. All this went to the vigilantes and others. No single vehicle got to the police. And the police has primacy. The police is the lead agency. And even in this rescue, the police is in the forefront. So there is a need to create that, to encourage synergy. Let no one feel that the other one is being treated better than the other. Because you need all this on board, all the stakeholders, the university, the immediate community of the school, the university administration, the security forces there, and all this group will continue to meet regularly. They will begin to come with information that you may think are irrelevant. They'll come and tell you that what is happening at Obajana? Are you having new entrants there? How do you checkmate those people there? Because that bush runs from Obajana out to this place. So the situation is there is a need to be have to be aware of the kidnap potential of students in view of the numerous incidents, the several incidents that have been recorded. So if you are not kidnap aware of the potential of kidnap, it becomes a problem. If you do not carry out a proper risk assessment, you have a problem. If you don't create an atmosphere of synergy among the security agencies so that they can relate and share information freely, including the hunters. I have worked, the hunters within Obacha, they are fantastic, they are good, but there is a need to create a synergy. Let the official security agency give them that direction, because what kind of training did you give them? So what I want to say, in effect, is that the stakeholders, the early warning and response mechanism need to be put in place. The issue of technology, the issue of drones and all those things, they will help. But going forward, if proper steps are not taken, you are going to have a big challenge fighting kidnap, because Osara is the headquarters of kidnap in Kogi State. Thank you.
Thank you very much, AIG Wilson in Aligo, retired. Let's get right back here in the studio with Dr. Yahuza. You've heard all that the AIG said, no risk assessment in citing schools. But even then, if you want to reclaim, I'm not a security expert, but if you want to reclaim a place that he says is notorious for kidnapping, you want to reclaim it from kidnappers, and then you decide to cite an institution there, what's in place to ensure that the students are not victims, the students are not vulnerable to these attacks?
Well, one of the things that's supposed to be put in place is to have a community-driven strategy, whereby community will be fully involved, whereby community will be fully engaged, and whereby you put a strategy where you can generate the right information and pass it to the right people and for the right actions to be taken. Yes, of course, like it has been mentioned by the commissioner, the AIG, the former commissioner and the AIG, it is very clear that right from the time you left Abaji up to your arrival at Obajana and taken down to Osara, even if nobody tells you, there are questions of what really the security measure being put in place. So effort of the government and effort of the security agencies to carry along the issue of synergy, like has been mentioned, need to be put in place. And then these hunters, you have forest marshal, you have hunters, you have vigilante, all of them supposed to have a kind of coordinated mechanism. We have to, at this juncture, commend the effort of the National Security Advisor and the Minister of Defense, as well as the Chief of Defense Staff, for their ability, and other security heads for the change in the strategy, whereby now you are having a very close coordination and improved coordination in terms of working relationship for how this agency relate to one another and their ability to provide quick response. And some of these activities of the bandits that are coming all over is as a result of the level of push, as a result of the level at which the Office of the National Security Advisor, the DSS and the police, the Nigerian Army and other intelligence forces were pushing them all over. So they are trying to shift from one strategy so that they can distract and divert the attention of the intelligence management as well as operations management. But I believe if you really want to have it done, I am making a lot of calls, a clarion call, that there is need to have a community-driven strategy whereby a coordination of all the polling units. At least government should go back to each and everybody, at least within the radius of the senatorial zone, where those institutions, not only the one at Osara, but all over, especially and specifically giving the attention to the areas where you have foreign communities, like what happens in Gusau and many other places. So you should have that at least for each of the polling unit to have an intelligence monitoring team that will be guided by the formal security organizations, agencies, whereby they will be provided with the adequate required training to have some specific required skills so that they can be able to do the needful and provide the right information. It is very easy now. Why I said it is very easy is because we have the mobile phones. You can easily, a community member can hide at one corner and quickly pass the right information. The Ministry of Defense, as well as all other security agencies, have come up with distress call numbers, and they have been sending it around. So I think it is high time for us to devise a strategy to kind of form a strategic action plan whereby we will engage the community at the polling units, engage the community at the ward level to have a structure, a community-driven structure from the polling unit to the ward level, to the local government level, so that the coordination mechanism, even though, yes, of course, it is a thick forest, and of course, it's a vulnerable area that around the Osara, from in between Osara and Obajana and all over around that area, and it has a very close link with this forest after Abaji and in relation to Nasarawa, Toto, and the rest of it. So it has this kind of complexity. But these guys are not coming through the air, and they are not coming through the underground. They are coming through the land. So when you have coordination, a kind of improve and train in intelligence personnel on ground, I mean, not really personnel, volunteers, you can call them intelligence volunteers, or whatever name you may give them. I am really calling on Nigeria and on Kogi State government, and not only Kogi State government, all government at all levels, because the security situation, security challenges is not something that can be manned by security personnel alone. It has to be an interwoven strategy, whereby each and everybody, including the motorists that are flying, you can even identify how many drivers are flying this road many times. The Dangote cement drivers, who are always around there, need to engage and collaborate and partner with the Dangote cement there, so that you can give them a specific training on intelligence monitoring, and then make sure that each and every one of them have this number. And also, as we have the kind of, what do you call it, the meetings that we normally have for APC, for AFGA, for Labour, for PDP, for whatever, then it is now over. We are done with the elections. So why can't you go back and bring back that structures that you have from the APC, the PDP, the leadership at the polling unit? Bring the youth leaders, women leaders, and everybody, put them together, sensitize them and educate them, and ask them to nominate a leader among them at the polling unit that can serve as a contact person. And at the same time, those leaders from the polling unit, they will fall at the ward level to serve as a ward level monitoring or intelligence volunteers committee. And then the leaders at the ward level will also serve as a local government volunteers committee, and then you have the senatorial intelligence volunteers committee. So if you have this, definitely these guys cannot escape easily, because Mr. A from the polling unit will definitely provide the information to Mr. B at the ward level. Mr. B at the ward level, they can easily be traced. I have been saying that all those that are conducting this activity, they are not foreigners. They are Nigerian nationals. 99.9% of them are Nigerian nationals. And they are not living outside the Nigerian territorial integrity. They are living within the Nigerian territorial integrity. I know that the Chief of Defense Staff, the National Security Advisor, and the Minister of Defense, as well as the other leading agencies of the NSA, the IGP, are doing their best. But your best is not yet enough. You need to do more. There is need to have an improved synergy of how a kind of collaboration and partnership with community-driven strategy can be effective. Yes, of course, we commend the governor for doing whatever, but I think it is a big slap on our face to hear that we send 200 hunters into the forest. Yes, of course, hunters are very, very important, and I commend them for so doing, and I know what they have been doing because I have been relating with them over and over. But how effective is a coordination mechanism between those hunters and the security agencies? And what do you have as a communication strategy being put in place? Because those hunters, if they are part of the community, yes, and they are part of those communities, and it has been made mention very clear, and that's what I know by the commissioner and many other people, that they know the terrain very well. Yes. If they know the terrain very well, then the police office, the police men and officers that have been serving between the Abaji down to Obajana, down to Osara, they also know the terrain very well. So, but what was the coordination mechanism? And where are these guys are really at the hideout? And it has been mentioned that CCTV camera have been switched off minutes or hours before the operations. Yes, agreed. But what of the other communication gadgets? Does that mean that the security only rely on the CCTV? Does that mean that the security on ground and the student are not being sensitized on being security consciousness? And what are the effective measures have been put in place? And is there any distress call, distress phone numbers that have been put in place at the entrance of each hostel, at the entrance of each block of the hostel? And then it's supposed to be available even at the entrance of the mosque, at the entrance of the church in the school, and to be everywhere. And also the school management supposed to make it a habit that even the lecturers, when they are conducting lectures, at least the last minute of the lecturer's presentation should have been made to encourage and to be mobilized, that to remind the student for being security conscious, and also to have those distress numbers at the tip, at their fingertips, so that they can be able to reach out to the securities. And I'm still going back. I know the Chief of Air Staff, the present structure of the Chief of Air Staff Wing, they have been doing excellently very well. So how effective is the communication? And I know the Chief of Army Staff have been moving around and have been checking to all the areas. I know recently he came back from some of the areas in Taraba State where some of these issues are happening. So how effective is the communication synergy? How effective, what strategy is really being put in place for communicating to the Nigerian Army as well as the Nigerian Air Force? As far as Zamfara, there are many times when I will call the Air Force wing in Abuja, and they will quickly move and kind of dispel the attack being by bandits and so on and so forth. You can call anywhere, and all these numbers are available. So what needs to be put in place is to change the strategy, to improve. It's not that the strategy is not doing well, but there is need to improve, and we need to sit very well, because if today it happens in Usara, tomorrow it will happen somewhere else. So the sub-school initiative need to reposition the strategy at which it operates. It is not all about celebrity. It is not all about a kind of launching ABCD, but what is in place? What is in place? Okay. And what the community, how do we remobilize the confidence and trust of the community? Okay. Because one of the major challenges that we have is the confidence and trust of the community members is being lost on the part of the activities, creativities, and so on and so forth. Everybody wants to see things on ground, not just the story, yes, or the newspaper.
Exactly. Government keeps saying, assuring Nigerians that your safety is first and foremost, on our list, and we will make sure you're safe. But a lot of Nigerians are now feeling unsafe wherever they are. You can't travel, you can't go anywhere. You made a statement last time we were discussing the Safe School Initiative here in the studio. You said you went to a school, you sat down, you even bought reke, and nobody asked you what you were doing there. And until you finished and you left, nobody came forward to ask you what you're doing. Let's bring in Mr. Kingsley Fanwo into the conversation. Now, you've listened to all our guests and what they've said, especially Mr. Gesto, who is an advocate of the Safe School Initiative. We heard that Usara is prone to kidnapping and banditry, and you know, there should be risk assessment in citing schools, especially where the university is now. Was that done before the siting of the university? And what kind of kinetic or not kinetic approach do you think should be put in place to ensure that this does not happen? We've talked about security agencies. What about the students? Is there any kind of alarm system or drills for the students to be able to understand that something is happening? Because if they can come into the school, go to where the students are reading, that means there was no alarm system, was there?
Thank you very much. Let me thank the AIG. He demonstrated a very deep knowledge of the terrain of Kogi State and some of the security challenges that we've witnessed in the past. It's crystal clear that Osara used to be the hotbed of criminality. And the immediate past administration, I'm very sure AIG is aware, invested heavily to be able to reduce this level of criminality to the barest minimum. And some of the things that were done were to strengthen the formations of the security agencies, including procurement and distribution of over 200 patrol vans to these agencies. We have only 21 local government areas in Kogi State. All of these were done to be able to strengthen the security agencies, and also the technology gadgets that were provided for all the security agencies to be able to perform optimally. I want to believe that citing the university there is even a way of ensuring that we stop that place from being the hotbed of criminality. And a lot of measures were put in place, including having a military forward operation base around the place, apart from strengthening the other security agencies like the lead security agency, the Nigerian police. And all of these were put in place to be able to ensure that we have a very safe environment around the Confluence University of Science and Technology. Also, the activation of the local hunters is very strategic in the sense that we want a situation where the locals are involved. The locals are involved not only in giving intelligence, but also in guiding security agents and agencies around the terrain that they understand very well. As to the fencing of the school, I'm very sure the AIG was briefed when it was just 35%. It's no longer 35%. The width of the school is 2.5 kilometers, and the length is 4 kilometers. That shows that we need 13 kilometers to fence that school 100%. Right now, it is over 60%. And as I'm talking to you, work had never stopped there. We continue to work very well to ensure that the entire school is well fenced and well secured. I want to say that the areas where we have not fenced is where we concentrate the security agents to be able to man, even as engineers, people working there to ensure that we achieve 100%. We will not do anything deliberate to put our students on harm's way. We will ensure that we always protect them. And that is what the state government is doing. In terms of kinetic, that they were able to breach the peace of the security of that school is something of concern to us. But we know these things happen once in a while. We've seen top military formations in the country being breached by these bandits and criminals. What we have to do is what Dr. said. We need to recalibrate our strategy, upgrade our strategy, look at the kinetic and the non-kinetic areas through which we can ensure a better security in that school. We've taken a lot from what he has said, and I'm very sure the governor went around the entire school that day to ensure not just to coordinate the operations to rescue the kidnapped students, but also to look at some of the infrastructure that will have to be put in place, upgraded, completed, to ensure security of students in that school. These are some of the measures that we're already taking. And we will not disclose everything here. We are talking to experts, and we would also talk more with a lot of experts that understand our terrain to see how we can improve security around our schools, not only in Osara, but everywhere where we have institutions of learning. This is a clarion call, this is a wake-up call on the state government. We are doing a lot already, but it is showing that we have to do more, and we are not shying away from that. And that's exactly what the governor said in all of his humility, that he's going to do a lot more to ensure that our institutions are safe. You know, putting a CCTV there is one of the ways through which you could monitor what is happening there and be able to provide security. Somebody was talking about playback. You cannot play back what was switched off. You know, we are investigating to ensure that the saboteur is identified, and we are able to do justice to that, and also be able to ensure that we have multiple. I will not discuss the strategies here, but everything we are doing right now, the governor is personally coordinating with the State Security Advisor, retired Commander Jerry Omodera, and all the security heads in the state. They are putting heads together, drawing up strategies to recalibrate, to upgrade the security architecture around the schools. We will not cry to Abuja. The immediate past governor did not do that. I think AIG will testify to that. The former governor was someone who would go heads-on to attack the security situation. And, you know, what we do is to solve our problems there. You know, rather than run to Abuja where they are contending with a lot of issues, the governor went to the school, and hours after going to the school, his efforts yielded results. And we are not oblivious of the fact that Nigerians are commending what he has done, but that is not enough. He's not satisfied with that yet. He will do better, and I'm sure Nigerians will be proud of what he will achieve in terms of security. These are some of the things that we are doing at the moment, and we want to encourage our students to be confident that our government will continue to provide security around schools. I would not want to go into details, but we worked on the credible intelligence a few months ago that a place, I will not mention the place, was to be attacked. And, you know, immediately it was coordinated behind the curtains, and that was averted. You know, we've averted hundreds of things like this, but there will be breach once in a while. But when these breaches happen, what we need to do is to up our game, recalibrate our strategy and our architecture, and that's exactly what the state government is doing right now. And we want to assure the parents that the state government would spare no resource in ensuring that the last person there is rescued alive, and they will be able to continue with their education. An attack on Kogi education is an attack on Nigerian education. The AIG is aware of our location. We are bordered by about 9 other states. We are the most central part of the north, and the most southern part of the north, and the most northern part of the south. And also, with statistics, we are having the lowest number of out-of-school children in the entire northern Nigeria. So with this, when you attack the psychology of parents, the psychology of students to be able to go to school, then we'll be in a big trouble in Nigeria. We are taking our destiny in our hands. We are not waiting for anybody. And that is why people like AIG and Dr. Z will also have to make the call for state police. This is long overdue. People that are supposed to gather intelligence are busy playing politics. So it is very difficult. So we need a situation where states will be able to take their destinies in their own hands. We have a well-regulated state police, and we'll be able to do a lot. We are having vigilante service. We are not abusing it. I think that's what a lot of security experts are saying, that when you put security in the hands of state governors, they will abuse it for political gains. We have the vigilante service. They are gathering intelligence. They are securing our rural areas. They are securing our locals, and they are not being abused. That doesn't
Yes, Mr. Kingsley, you know, advocates of state police will indeed say that states need to have their own state police so that they can be able to, you know, avert issues like this that just happened in Kogi and other parts of the country. We'll get back to you to talk more about that, but we need to take a break now. When we return, the conversation will continue.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors, with undying demand, we bet solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Each ethnicity is unique, we have more than just a nation. We are Nigeria, strengthening unity, we know they carry lives. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
If you want to become something, become a child again. Why be patient? If you must worry, then worry about winning. Why worry about germs? When you come home, bring tales and stories. Why bring in germs?
Shield your families from germs. When Dettol is a part of every household bucket, then you and your family can stay protected from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Everyday use of Dettol keeps my loved ones protected.
The new Happy Sachets. It has a thick formula, so all you need is just one sachet for your toilet bowl. It gives 10 times better cleaning and big savings too.
Wow, Helen!
Sparkling clean toilet with Happy Sachet.
Meet lovebirds Jayola and Adama Davies. Their dream of living together as man and wife has finally been fulfilled.
The latest couple in town, Mr. and Mrs. Jaye Davis!
But an invasion by their troublesome families was not a scenario they bargained for. Her mother moves in. His mother shows up with his little niece. Then her younger sister joins the scramble.
You want to stay?
Married life suddenly becomes very complicated even before it started. Follow their story on this channel as they confront every challenge as it comes. Family forever, the story of our lives.
Bye, Mom.
He's going to play in this weather. Why did you let him go? He might fall ill.
And if he doesn't go out for practice, how will he win more trophies? To protect our family from illness-causing germs during the rainy season, we use Dettol soap every day.
Dettol with Germ Defense gives you protection. Raining season brings a lot of germs, and Dettol soap's Germ Defense protects you from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Dettol soap is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association. Be Dettol sure.
Nigeria means unity.
Nigeria means freedom to me.
Nigeria means greatness to me.
Nigeria is indivisible. There is nothing you can do. We all have to savage it together and learn to love each other. We are indivisible.
As a mother and a leader, I will always preach for peace and unity in this country, because that is the only thing that will give us progress. Though tribes and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand. And it is the woman that does that.
Thank you for staying with us. Let's head now to Kaduna as we continue conversation on the kidnap incident at Osara, Kogi State. Now, Mr. Salami, not everybody seems to agree with you that state police is the silver bullet needed for all our security challenges. But from this particular experience, what lessons have we learned, and how can we apply the lessons learned to prevent, a recurrence?
The problem with attack on soft targets is a very peculiar kind of security challenge, because it is not like conventional warfare. So that is why we are always taken aback suddenly. In the first instance, intelligence gathering in itself is not a perfect thing, because you can get about 20, 30 intelligence and maybe only 1 or 2 of it is applicable. So there's need for expertise to determine what of the intelligence you gather, which of them you need to work upon. And then also the security agencies, the police, the civil defense, and the army, and what have you, they need to earn the confidence of the masses. Confidence is not something you just pluck from the tree. So the way they conduct themselves ab initio is also very, very important. And I believe that the headship of the police at the highest level, the Inspector General of Police, I remember that in the past, I don't know whether it's still existing, they used to have an Inspector General's office that goes around and monitor what is happening and correct. Because once a human being knows that nobody is checking him, he would not bother to obey the rules or perform his duties as expected. So there is need for monitoring. And this monitoring should not come just because there's a problem. It should be on continuous basis, so that if there's any slackness in any direction, it can be, I mean, like the experience of Kogi. If there was somebody who monitors that the CCTV is always on, it would have been, it would have been much easier to visualize its outcome in detecting what has happened. So these are some of these very, very negligible things that are very important when you talk of security. So I want us to recognize the importance of security everywhere, whether it is in the farms, whether it is in the schools, whether it is in the universities or other institutions of higher learning. And everybody has to be a security agent of sorts, just like some of the contributors have explained. But many of us in this country, we don't take our duties seriously. We think it is only the police, the civil defense, and so on that have to, that are paid for security. Since we are not paid for it, we don't think we have responsibility, but we all have responsibility. So I want to appeal to all Nigerians to take security very seriously. I mean, we are talking of Kogi now, but remember that there are other states where this thing has happened worse than the experience of Kogi, and where it has even been repeated over and over and over, and it's still being repeated as we speak. So I think, as I said, we need to address the issue of security. We must accord it maximum priority, and we must fund it adequately. We must not give it a percentage and, because if we have security, other things, as I said, will just be in place. So it is the prevention of insecurity that we need to adhere very strictly to, so that we're not always talking after the event.
Mr. Salami, indeed, we cannot just be talking after the event. There must be measures put in place to prevent such events. Thousands of students have been kidnapped from schools, even before, there are some undocumented ones that happened even before the Chibok girls, kidnapping that didn't come to light. Now, let's bring in AIG Inalogu into the conversation now. a lot of people have said this is one too many. It cannot continue to happen. And our security agencies have been fighting on ground, on the air, and you know, on the sea against this kind of insecurity to the sovereignty of Nigeria. Now, our security agencies have been standing out when they go for international, you know, assignments, you know, like peacekeeping, and then they stand out there, some of the best. But back home, it is always a problem. What is that problem, and how can it be solved? Is it that the welfare when they go on international missions is much more better than when they come back home? And how can we prevent a reoccurrence of kidnapping in our schools, which is a continuous thing, and we just can't help it? You know, everybody is being assured by government that they are safe, your security is safe. And we talked about proliferation of small arms and light weapons just last week, and you were on the program. What if Nigerians now decide to seek, you know, for weapons to protect themselves? Can you paint a scenario of something like that? If it happens, if Nigerians now say we have to protect ourselves because we do not trust the security agencies to protect us and to protect our children, what kind of picture is it going to show?
I think if you ask Nigerians to protect themselves, everybody is armed. There will be chaos and anarchy, and the situation will be much more serious. And I think the situation that we have is that of process. And I say process because here you have about 400 or 200 hunters that are deployed. And if I may ask you, what was the involvement of the official security agencies? Because even if the police is handling the situation and they cannot handle it, there is a process of the police handing over to the military. And the process of working with non-state actors is properly spelled out in the first orders. And what do? If you have like 10 vigilantes, you have 1 or 2 police personnel with them to give them that official backing. So if we continue to engage in self-help, we'll just be putting resources, and those resources will just be frittered. Come to think of it, how are these 400 and the other police people, how are they going to work? How are they going to coordinate? How are you going to ensure synergy? So, I think what we need to do is to respect process. Because if we don't have that structure in place and we work at cross purpose, we will see that we are putting a lot of resources, but you are not going to get the result that you think you get. And that is why I like what your guest in the studio talked about, from polling unit to ward level and the local government level. And I think that is the way to go. Because if you have stakeholders like the Confluence University, you have the representatives of the community of Osara, the relevant security agencies, and representatives of hunters. Now, you are now bringing together the early warners and the early responders. You see, they will be able to work in a coordinated form. But so long as we think this won't go alone, just look at the recent launch of the Safe School Initiative. The Civil Defense launched Safe School Initiative. The police launched Safe School Initiative. You don't do that. If you are going to do it with multiple security forces, you bring them together, give them training, and when you train them, they are able to operate seamlessly. They give respect to each other. And that makes it better. Now, from somebody talked in the studio about how do you alert when there is imminent attack. I know there is an arrangement that they make elsewhere. Even the radio mechanic in the local place can do it. Just have small radios configured, and you can create an alarm system. And that you have places like Osara, you have at least minimum of 10%. And then when you have them, once you have an attack, they would have done some rehearsals, simulation exercise among the students. If you hear this alarm, this is what you do. And these are things that can be organized. This simulation exercise can be organized for them so that these individuals come, they are not able to take a heavy chunk, Imagine taking 200. But so when you deploy to the campus and you have that radio arrangement where you can sound alarm, an announcement to go, the student would have had predetermined places they can escape to. And then the forces deployed in the campus will be able to hold on by engaging them before reinforcement comes. So that is very, very critical. When you do that, you get all involved, the stakeholders, because the attacker shouldn't even have access, even within that community. When you begin to see movement, and where these universities or schools are located, when you begin to see strange faces, and in the case of kidnap, it is not by uniform, it is an intelligence-led thing. Intelligence, because you can deploy 1,000 officers from Okene to Obajana Junction. In between, they will still try to breach, assuming they carry your loved ones and they are running to the bush and they are firing. Are you going to engage them? Therefore, what you need to do is to be able to build adequate intelligence. And if you go to Osara, you find in some locations there, because these guys are in the bush, you find 100 telephones. Somebody is charging it for them. You go down, you find the market. These people come. So when you find some people that their livestock suddenly increase, it should, create an awareness. And then when you leave a place like
Obajana, we have to interject here. I'm sorry. Thank you very much for the contributions you have made so far, because we are running out of time. Let's quickly get back here in the studio and take a moment or two with Dr. Yahuza Getso. Now, you've listened to the IG, speak from experience, what he knows maybe while he was commissioner in Kogi State. Now, what else needs to be done to ensure that we don't have a recurrence, whether in Kogi State or elsewhere?
Well, we need to have at the back of our mind, especially put a call to the leaders to fear Almighty God. Because it is only when you have a fear of God at the back of your mind that you will sit up to your responsibility. Okay. That is one. And secondly, the community need to understand that the security is a responsibility of everybody. And even if the security agencies did not come close to you, the community members who are the host. Because I appreciate that it has been mentioned that we have even a military formation, and we have the DSS and the rest, civil defense and the rest around Osara and the rest. So the community, because if you allow these criminals to continue to build up their structure, it is going to be against you and against your community. And bringing the university there is initiating a development agenda for your community. Yeah. So we need the community should have the security agencies being chased, as well as the security agencies also should chase the community, so that there will be an interwoven strategy to ensure that partnership and collaboration is put in place, not always to be doing what is being called as after-action review.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. Let's bring in Kingsley Femi Fawo into the conversation in just 1 minute. We'd like to take your reaction. They say most of these people that do these kidnappings are known, and the security agencies know, are from Kogi State. And the parents are now worried about their children who are still in captivity. What do you expect to hear from you in the days coming?
Thank you very much. Let me start by commending the synergy of all the security agencies that responded swiftly to what happened, to be able to mitigate it and reduce it to what we say. I want to commend the Nigerian Army, all the security forces, the police for leading the onslaught against the kidnappers, and especially the DSS for coordinating a very robust synergy and ensuring that we're able to mitigate it to that level. Having said that, I would say that currently a lot of things are going on to ensure that we have a very safe and secured COSTECH, and not just COSTECH, but all the other universities, starting with the completion of the fencing that is ongoing. We are going to expedite action to ensure that completed in record time. We are also going to replicate some of the measures that we are going to take behind all of our institutions to ensure that we have safe institutions. And to the parents, I want to assure you that Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo has committed to ensuring that no child will be left with them. We will do everything to make sure that all of the people that were kidnapped are rescued alive and they will be able to continue with their education. The psychological support that we are supposed to give, we are already giving to those that have been released, and we give to those that will secure their release. We are very confident that we are not going to lose anybody to the kidnappers as we are working very hard. It is a commitment by your governor, and he will ensure that that commitment is fulfilled. I can assure you that.
Kingsley Femi Fanwo, Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kogi State, we thank you for reassuring the parents that their children will be returned to them safely. Thank you so much for giving us an update on Good Morning Nigeria today. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much.
From Sierra Leone, we're joined by Assistant Inspector General of Police, AIG Wilson Inalego, retired. We thank you so much for your contribution, as always.
The pleasure is mine, always. Thank you.
Isa Ozi Salami, who joined us from Kaduna, President, Nigerian Institute for Industrial Security. We appreciate your input.
Very much indeed.
Thank you so much. And Dr. Yehuza Getso, Security Intelligence and Investigation Expert, Community-Driven Development Professional, Monitoring, Tracking, Research, Knowledge Management, Forest Criminal Investigation, Criminality Therapist, Consultant on Research and Development. As always, we appreciate your presence.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure. And that's Good Morning Nigeria for today. Thanks so much for your time. Tomorrow will be another interesting topic to be discussed. Thank you for watching. I am Jumma Yesel.
And I am Victor Azu. I appreciate your time. Do join us again, same time tomorrow, for another episode of the program. Enjoy the rest of your day.